I mean, like, what appeals to me is exactly because what you said. Like I'm actually definitely more interested in a hero where he's learning, or at least he's acknowledging his flaws. Like I think the reason, I love the first film. Like, as a matter of fact, I think the first film is also one of the strongest point of the first film is because, like, we see him as a flawed human being, right? Like, we see he's bored with his routinity. He there's something in him that says, like, I want my masculinity back, like, and I like that. But like this time, we see a character who becomes too overconfident with his skills, who becomes, oh yeah, I'm the man, like, and it turns out he's not the man, like, it turns out like he's getting his ass kicked, things are getting out of control, and I like that, like, I think that's the appeal. Whenever you have I said to an interviewer before, actually, I try to incorporate all these elements in my film where I take a little bit of inspiration from, you're from Japan. I actually am a huge fan of anime and manga, because I feel like no matter how fantastic the story is, there's always a very specific type of humanity that, manga is able to tell. And I think I'm always drawn to that. Like, I'm always drawn to, yes, huge Mansell can, like, kill a bunch of people in the water park and all that stuff. But like, what is the human story behind it? What he's trying to achieve, and I love that in this type of project. Well, maybe not a specific manga, but like I mentioned earlier how the work of Takeshi Kitano really influenced me, and I think one of my favorite film, like, Hanabi. I think I see a lot of similarity between Beat Takeshi, the actor, and Bob Odenkirk. They both come from a comedic background. Like, they're both very funny, but like they're also able to portray this very serious and stoic man. Like, and especially, I think both Kitano and Bob is those actors who, as they're older, they get, the more interesting they become. Especially how, like, they face, like, Kitano usually does this thing, and Bob is also a guy who does very special things with his face, and I'm actually very drawn into it. So I think Beat Takeshi and Hanabi have a similarity with Bob Odenkirk and Nobody. Like, they're both very similar characters. You know what? Be it a no. It's weird because, like, I always pitch. I did mention to Bob, when we finished shooting Nobody 2, actually, Bob said, like, hey Timo, I never been to Japan. Like, how is it? And I told him Japan is the best place to be. Like, I think Tokyo has always been one of my favorite location, and every year I will always go to Tokyo. Like, and I said, Bob, once you go to Japan, let's think about idea, like, how you can create, like, some story of Hutch Mansell in Japan, and I always think, like, what, if we work together with somebody like Tadanobu Asano, like, I think that'll be freaking great. I've been a huge fan of Tadanobu Asano since Shark Skin Man and Peach Hip Girl. Like, it's one of my favorite films. So I think just to have Bob Odenkirk and Tadanobu Asano in one frame will be great. So we'll see. Never say never. Yeah, I mean, like, Tadanobu is such a great, he's very interesting, and I think the older he gets, he's also becoming much more cooler, Asano. So we'll see. You never know.